How did I get so sleepy in like 5 minutes of taking a break? Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. And I'm talking to Reed. For some reason, Reed gets. I mean, to be fair, Stella had like 2 chapters technically. You know, you're very good at this. You know, maybe you should find more ghosts. You're just very good at this. I'm a little meh because I do feel like you need some breather, man. You had a really good high note. No, can we just let Anon go to bed? Can they talk about this? Can they talk about how weird it is that like several people that are like super okay with this? Like, sure, there's a little proof, but it's not that much proof. You know, at best it's a little magic trick. Where were we? I still don't think, like, the swing is not that... Like, again, yeah, sure, it doesn't look like it could have been the win, but even so... I don't know, I feel like you're overselling this. I'm gonna pass the fuck out. Man, that's crazy! How did I ever give you my number? Trish told you not to. Oh, yeah! Well, she's dead, so that's fine. Why the fuck are we in Fang's POV when Anon's the one who's like... Wouldn't it be great to be in Anon's mind as he's just fucking... just so done? Oh, great Fang. Maybe I can get some sleep. You're getting way... I want to see what the comments have to say about this, because someone was complaining this isn't just going to be a fucking therapy tour, and it's turning into a fucking therapy tour. It worked. Turn my shoulder. You went to a church? I think convincing 3 people about ghosts is more than enough, no matter how you slice that cake. Yeah, church we all went to as a family. Oh sure, we need a new song, because we're a church. I can see this playing in a church. Ramen. These walls could talk, or whatever the saying was. I feel like the reason you would get disillusioned with God is that God is supposed to be this omnipotent creator, and he put you in the wrong body as far as a non-binary person would probably be concerned. People will provide you with answers, but they would never feel quite right, especially since Trish was pushing it. I'm just saying, you know, God doesn't... Ghost you can prove your existence more than God can, which is just so gosh dang funny. That's like the big problem with spooky ghosts. Fucking gag. I feel like you're not... I mean, admittedly, you know, for your age, this is like the kind of atheism I should expect from you. The kind of agnosticism, maybe. Never showed up, never fixed anything. He let me shoot Anon. Maybe you have become God, Fang. You just haven't realized how to use all those cool new God powers of yours yet. God, I'm just trolling someone. Hold up. I don't know any clue. Like Stella was going to be any up. I think Stella would bounce off the doors like you will. Fang, you don't have anyone who's good for this. Why are you going to a church? Like, I felt like part of... Like, listen, I'm not trying to dismiss church as and the value it can have to someone like Fang. But ending 3 always gave this implication that Fang had retreated into church in a bad way. That Fang's new out religiousness was a lot more escaping reality and desperate to find something over having a healthy relationship with the good old JC and everything. She needed a man in her life, and it was gonna be Jesus. Although, admittedly, you are here because Rosa did tell you that. Yeah, here we go. Maybe it's been a good idea. I don't think God can help you here, or as priests. Because, like, a lot of them operate on the presumption that there are no ghosts. Because, you know, when you die, God grabs your little soul by the scruff of your neck and takes you upstairs. You don't get to stick around like that. That's not how this works. I feel like, again, I don't think you're going to get a good answer. I can't imagine this working. Listen, if I turn into a spooky ghost and I start haunting someone, don't take me to church. I could give you plenty of reasons why it's not going to work. First off, a lot of it is interpreted by the individual priest. Second, I'm pretty sure the church's official position is that ghosts are not a thing. They're demons or they're angels there to do something else. Maybe. But not ghosts. That implies that God is dropping stitches, which is not how this works. You go to limbo. I mean, I could think of numerous reasons. One is a lot of churches, especially older buildings, from you wanted to. Churches would sink into the ground over time, so you wanted to future-proof them. It's partially because it keeps the rain out and the mud out. There's a lot of reasons to put in a little set of steps. Also, it's adorable because now, also, if you want to give a sermon or you just want to be like, let's do this shit outside, you can stand at the top of the stairs and you'll have an elevated position. There's so many reasons to put little stairs in front of your house as if it's a church. Like in movies, holy places, my damned soul. Are you a damned soul, though? Feels more like Anon just didn't let you go, the clingy little bastard. If you feel weird, I'll... So the fret steps too for extra effect. Pissing on the steps is not a solid plan B. That's a solid plan P. For P-ness. Oh shit, we got another musical recommendation from the author. I don't know if this guy makes his own music or if he just picks up songs and then relabels them for the purposes of this, but whatever. Yeah, that is a fucking we're in church now, brother song. Immediately a wave of nostalgia washed over me. Wash, more like being bodied like a freight train. Man, it's been years since I've been here, and all I can remember is Mom being larger than me. Like in a spiritual way. I mean, it's nostalgia. Nostalgia works like that. Don't ascribe to God what is just you being a little baby. Little baby man. Singing in the choir. Even I stopped believing the words he spoke, Father Anthony's voice was always comforting. You went to your own church? You fool! They're gonna put you in a little jar! You fool! He's ready for you! It's like the opposite of a used car salesman. That is a great way to describe someone. Please, you need to call him Father Anthony. The second you just call him Anthony, it implies that you do not actually respect his position. I feel like the problem I have with this, right, is you're either consistently going to call him Father Anthony, or you're going to say that it's the title that he has. You can't double dip on this. Either you're religious enough to believe in the title, or you're not, and it's like, he's Anthony, and everyone always calls him Father Anthony. You can't double dip. This is one of those situations where double dipping is probably the most blasphemous you can be. Because either you don't believe in it at all, and it's like, eh, or you do, and it's like, ooh. That's my vibes on the whole situation, at least. I mean, priests stick around for a while. Unless they got promoted, maybe became bishop. Maybe he voted for the Pope. And he was like, I want us to have a less woke Pope. And the guy next to him was like, yeah, we should probably get a Pope that doesn't sleep 12 hours a day. Nobody got what he was talking about. Man was too steeped in the local politics. Served. I mean, they serve God, so yes. He serves the community. I'm pretty sure Anthony's gonna be like, what the fuck is this human doing here? Also, between Reed and everyone else, like, they kind of want to believe it. I feel like convincing a church man ghosts are real is a dangerous thing to do. Because that can ripple up the chain. This man has power and influence. He's not just some random teen. Man, your dad cannot inhale a giant dick, a platter of dicks. The man is... He likes the... I guess... Well, a penis is a lot more like... It's not really a muscle. A lot of it is inflated through blood, I've been told. So it's not really just a big muscle. It's, you know, it's like faking it to an extent. And in a lot of species, there's also a bone in there. So it's like eating a very, you know, straightforward, very oddly shaped chicken wing. Or chicken leg. I don't know which one has the little bone in it. I think it's legs. Oh my god, you're walking like a wedded couple. Get it? In life and in death. Ah, shit. You were supposed to leave when you turned to dust. Did mom cry? Did dad? Should have after they'd already left. Man, your timing sucks. I was the failure, and boy, did I prove it in a big way. I mean, this implies that Nasser was intentional. He very much was, like, incidentally there at the time. We didn't even do anything yet. Hey, Fang, I thought we were here to help you with your ghost shit. Can you stop sitting there muttering to yourself? God. Just thinking, that's all you've been doing. So little happens. So much thinking happens. It's so much psychiatry hour. It's getting a little tiring. Anyway, now it's time to have this relationship moment. You know, the response, I continued forward. Is it rupture? So that's a big thought spiral. Jesus fucking Christ, get to the point! Why is this cross made of rock? That's not how a desert works. Do you have any fucking clue how bad a cross of rock is for the job? You can't just impale someone on that. God, man. It's like you don't even understand the logistics of crucifixion, you goddamn losers. Having him. See, you're using uppercase. You can't call him Anthony at that point. Like, you have given him credence. Although, now you're doing it lowercase, so you're just, like, fucking around, I guess. Well, okay, listen. There's a large argument to be had about the fact that God makes Jesus, and it's then like, Jesus is going to solve the problems. It's like, you made the problems, and then you sent down yourself, and you're like, it's chill now. That's weird, right? That doesn't make any sense. That's like a guy burns down a forest, and then he goes down there, and he plants a sapling or two, and he's like, hey, no more problem, peace, and he leaves, and it's like, no, you caused this. This is not... Nothing has been solved, my man. It's like, all humans did original sin, and now you're forgiven for that, I guess. It's so weird. It's a really weird thing that you're going to have to square away somehow if you want to really believe in the good old JC man. But the other part isn't, like, there's the whole talk about the Trinity, and is Jesus God? Because if Jesus is God, then God sent himself down to sacrifice himself for himself. So he's just like, I'm bloodthirsty enough that I will kill myself, and I'll consider it good. And that's also weird. All I'm saying is there's a reason why early Christianity was filled with people arguing about this shit. Because it was weird. It was whack. And I still don't like the answers they got. It's still dumb. Guess in some regard, we're a lot different. I mean, Jesus didn't come back as a ghost. He just came back. He just was like, hey, I'm not dead. Which is very different. I mean, isn't there like a whole section where Jesus went out into the desert and Satan was like, haha, I'm gonna tempt you, Jesus. And Jesus was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I feel like you can't really measure up to the man, Fang. The guy had a lot of patience. It's hard to match up. I mean, that's not really how this works, Fang. That's like part of the deal, is that you fuck up. That's why you're not an angel. Man, thank you. Stop having a fucking religious epiphany and go to hell already. Literally, please, leave. I'm sick and tired of this. Like, if I dump you in the confessional booth, is that good enough? Scan the room. Yeah, you've been here for like 20 minutes just thinking. I mean, that's not how prayers are supposed to work, right? Like, listen, I don't like this manner of thinking because I personally think that you're just kind of you're reducing your locus of control. Like you're saying, I don't have control over this, but I should. I don't like people like the idea, right? Is that you pray and you pray for strength and wisdom. You pray for the capacity to solve your own problems. And wisdom can come in the form where you think about your problems and it solves things. The problem is a lot of the time it's because you're thinking about stuff and taking some time to rest and relax and meditate. Like, I feel that the meditation, the act of that, is way more influential than the actual prayer could ever hope to be, considering what tends to come out the other end. But I don't like people who take that and they're like, no, I put my faith in God. I don't like that anonymous Alcoholics Anonymous shit where it's like you remove your locus of control. Keep it in your control. Take charge. Find strength somehow. But don't ascribe that strength as not being your own. Even if you believe that it's God, God gave you that strength. You have it now. It is yours. Don't ask for more. Make of what you got. You have enough. I don't know, but it's weird. It's weird to me. Why would you assign yourself less agency when the whole problem is that you didn't have any? You lack the strength and wisdom to do something. Ugh. Was Anon a believer? He has a cross in his room, I think. Admittedly, a lot of people have crosses in the room, which again, I think is mostly because one of the creators is kind of stuck up his own ass about it, but whatever. I'm willing to forgive it because I've been told that's just normal in America, so it might be that. I don't think about it too much. I don't think it's too relevant. Also, for what it's worth, America is a Christian country, quote unquote. Even if its form of Christianity is kind of fucking stupid. Very folksy, very corrupted. Very much Satan's Christianity, shall we say. With how they treat their poor and sick. Man, Satan's gotta have an easy time recruiting souls from America. Because they'd be like, yeah, man, money, great. Oof, terrifying. There's a reason why they say that it's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. Because one has an immensely greater locus of control, much greater responsibility to do good, and he won't, because he's got to protect that wealth to keep it. So you end up with this weird cyclical thing of where you can't do good. Whereas if you're just a little guy, it's real easy. Of course he's a baryonyx, because again, I'm not looking at fucking dinosaur species. Okay, do priests attack spirits? I personally always like that priests are just people trying their best, because I feel like over-assigning magical powers and abilities to priests is kind of a bad thing to do. For one, it kind of takes away the fact that priests have bad days too. They get sick. They have to, you know, they got their own bad days. They have their own crises of faith. That's just part of it, man. And if you ask a Christian, that's how God works. That's how the cookie crumbles, as they say. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's kind of cute to go with that idea of, like, God is so powerful that he's not going to tell his fucking priests about this either. They don't need to know. You know? This is your problem, Anon, not your priest. The priest can't help here. God is turning priest detection off. Switch goes down. Oh shit, I should have thought about this. And I've been writing that thing, and I've come to realize that I feel like a lot of the characters I write generally would not work well in a church. I feel like Evelyn would just be like, why am I even here? She'd just be confused, because she would go there because someone else was there. Wanda, as much as the big problem is Ophinia. Because, like, either she's from Shalonian Planetside or she's from outside, and in both cases, she's like, I don't care what you believe in. Get your magic man out of my house. Why do you spend all this money on this big fucking building? She wouldn't get it. She just wouldn't get it. The space one wouldn't get it because, you know, once you get to space, you start fucking with your own genes. Also, Shalonians are just not predisposed to religion because they already have their own sort of built-in religion of the consensus mechanism, as it is politely referred to. So they, in general, just wouldn't get it. They're like, this religion is trying to imitate what we already have, and it's failing at it horribly. We should restart. You know, that kind of like there are 12 competing standards, someone tries to fix it, now there are 13 competing standards. That's kind of how they would look at this. Not how they would look at it, that's kind of the outcome they would have. And it's great, because it fucks shit up, and that makes for good writing. That makes for a fun scene, one might say. In fact, it's something I should probably address if I ever decide to do Anon from the North. Like, having Anon just straight up walk into that religious conflict and go like, I don't know how to square this. It'll be interesting. Because Anon very clearly does not give it much thought, but he still holds some reverence for higher powers. Enough that he calls for their mercy and help when he needs it. Although in the bad ending, he doesn't so much, I think. I was worried about him. Like a confession booth or anything. Hey, are you well? Son, you've been standing there for like 15 minutes. What the hell? Why are you just walking up to people and standing there? No. Oh shit, we're being a little bleak. Let's turn on hospital drones, because that just perfectly captures the vibe of shit's fucked. Man, I love this song for how just terrifyingly hollow it is. Even you could tell that Anna was behaving like a normal churchgoer. No. Do you wish to talk about it? Or I could go for Father Gregory. No, that doesn't work in this context. Father Gregory is great if you want to banish the demons from your room with a shotgun. It's not good if you need to pat someone on the head. Do you wish to talk about it? Don't I normally do confession in those little box things, the one with the screens? Most commonly, yes. But unfortunately, we are not officially holding confession right now. Listen, you can't just do it normally anymore. God's given us a schedule. We're doing it on Friday. I can still take yours normally, but just not in the booth. Also, we're cleaning it out. You'd be surprised how many people just jack off in there. You think that God would repel them, but then they're like, haha, I did the cum challenge. Was it the cum chalice? I don't keep up with memes anymore for a reason. I saw one walk in and he had a chalice full of white liquid, and I feel like at that moment I realized that God had truly forsaken us. Biggest crisis of faith I ever had. Although admittedly maybe the real crisis was having to clean it up with my own bare hands. We're in the house of God right here as well. God's house is bigger than just the seats you sit in, my man. So, how high up do we have to go to get out of God's house where you have to leave the roof? Actually, I've never really thought about how high this extends. Technically, the property goes indefinitely upwards up until like the place where planes travel. I don't know. I think because the Lord tells us, my child, to respect the laws of man as much as the laws of God. I imagine that the house of God must end somewhere around there as well. Then, I guess we also have like, what's it called? Like resource rights? You know, the rights for everything other. Man, God is a weird thing to think about. What is the house of God indeed? Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think Priestman can see you, Fang. At this point, he would have probably pointed out, like, hey, what's the fucking angel floating over your shoulder? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, he's just waiting to actually give him some privacy. How far can you go in this place, Fang? Can you even make the space needed for this? Votal candles. They call them prayer candles. I love them as a kid. Votal candles. This is news to me. Let's look it up. Candlelight vigil. This does not register anything. That's weird. 1 8-ounce candle for every 10 foot of radius of the room. What? This is the closest I can get, but it doesn't really tell me anything. Huh. Grave candle, maybe? Death candle, death lantern. Oh, it's a votive candle. Did I misspell it? Hold on. A votal. Yeah, Fang probably isn't figured out. It's supposed to call it a prayer candle. A votive offering. Votive deposit. It's one or more objects displayed or deposited without the intention of recovery or use in a sacred place for religious purposes. So it's like a tribute or sacrifice? Butter lamps. Oh, other religions have it too. Votive candles for sale on sale for Halloween? I don't think you should. I don't think you should sell votive candles as Halloween decorations. I don't. I don't want to be like that guy, but I feel like a prayer is not really a Halloween thing. I always call them prayer candles. I loved them as a kid. Something about the soft glow of the flame. I mean, flames are just cool. You write a little note to that God to make it easier for God to see. See, like a bit retarded? No, the way I understand it is it's meant to be like a little tribute. It's like, listen, God, I can't do prayers right now, or this is like the prayer, man. This is the thoughts and prayers condensed into wax, as they say. I mean, at that point, why are you even praying at all, buddy? Like, if we're gonna have that bunch of arguments, we need to ask ourselves, why the fuck does God need you to worship Him? Why does God need you to accept Jesus? Surely He can look past that if He's so kind and buddy with everyone. I need little cards because it's for you. It's like the tarot. The point is more to give you the strength and the knowledge and the understanding by forcing you to think about stuff. Writing stuff down comes with a certain amount of lessening burdens and changing how you think about things. So it has effect. Even outside of whatever religious power you ascribe it, there is an effect. Perhaps that is the effect. I don't know. You can say they're the same thing, but like I said, that's changing your locus of control in dangerous ways. Very dangerous ways. That's how you get religious psychoses. Because you're like, no, I don't have control. Because I already gave all my control to someone else. And it's like, yeah, at that point, your brain just starts to cook itself. It's bad. Don't do that. God. Did you know they used to seal people inside of... I mean, they didn't. I make it sound like people did that intentionally, but there used to be these hermits who would like get sealed inside of a church building and they would just read, and they'd had like this tiny fucking room. Well, let me see if I can find this. Anchorite, there you go. Is someone who, for religious reasons, withdraw from secular society, be able to lead an intensely prayer-oriented, ascetic, or Eucharist-focused life. But unlike hermits, they were required to take a vow of stability of place, opting to permanent enclosure in the cells of churches. Unlike hermits, they were also subject to religious rites of consecration that closely resembled a funeral rite, following which they would be considered dead to the world and a type of living saint. They were literally sealed inside of a room, as far as I can tell. And that was the common way to do things. You get it, anchorite? Because they're an anchor? That shit's weird, man. That's not healthy. Also, I can't imagine you're very useful if you don't know how the world works. Like, I get it, right? You can be close to God, but, God doesn't really share scientific insights or, like, understandings of political situations. Very few prophets and oracles ever really worked like that. Gods do not share practical knowledge with you. Just cryptic whispers. I'm just saying that maybe you should read a different book every once in a while, just to keep your mind sharp. Otherwise, you just go a little cuckoo in there. You cook inside your own room, your own piss. But yeah, that was just a weird detail that I remembered. Very, very strange. Everyone's got their own stories, I guess. Prayer cards for sick family members. Oh yeah, that's also a thing I think you can do. You can also like make a prayer card for someone else and then throw it in there and be like, God, it's your house. Things are closer. Things are better here. So I'm gonna throw my family's wapow in for him. Assume the big dino in the sky. Wasn't the mating season one like, oh, God turned Jesus was a raptor, but God is human. Really weird stuff like that. How does the Trinity work? Is one of them halfsies? A hybrid? That'd actually be interesting if one of the Trinity is halfsies. Like, it'd be interesting in the sense of like, what if is it like a perfect blend of features, or is it like Two-Face, because then the right is associated with humans because that's the human side, and left's associated with the reptiles because that's the side the dinosaur. I'm just saying there's stuff there you can do that no one's gonna fucking do because that's technically sacrilege. Hold on, I always get these mixed up. No, this is blasphemy. No, blasphemy is when you say naughty things. Heresy? It'd probably be heresy since you're kind of establishing doctrine, right? Apparently, it's only heresy if you claim that it's actually 100% for realsies like that. Yeah, I think it would be heresy. Sacrilege is spitting on sacred things, like kicking an altar. And blasphemy is saying naughty things. Heresy is like, man, I got a whole new idea. I know the guy behind this has like a big, Jesus hard on about procreation or whatever. I've been told that he has that. I don't know. I don't care. But Raptor Jesus is technically heresy. Just saying. Or sacrilege, because you are kind of messing around. Like, it makes sense in the world, but from an outside perspective, if you're one of those people who's like, the texts are satanic, then this stuff doesn't slide. It does not slide. You are technically still crossing the line, buddy. Waggles my finger. But that's if you're one of those weirdos who says the text holds power, like you're a fucking goblin who thinks his thoughts are being stolen if they're put on paper, which is just goofy to me. That goes too silly. You're too silly now. I can't take you seriously if you're too silly about it. Well, if you still cared like that. Like, again, even if God doesn't say shit, right? The fact that you're doing this still helps. There's a power to the action, to the acts themselves. And taking that action is it's doing something. And sometimes we want to feel like we're doing something. Quite a number of casualties to no surprise. It's almost like recently a fucking school got shot to pieces, and this might have affected some people. Not just the people who got shot, but the people's family of those who got shot. And their friends. I'm just saying. It's like a huge ripple of this, Fang, you dipshit. If only we're that easy. I was gonna prayers for the sick, prayers for success. One praying for Feng Shui, which I think is a little out of tune. So Gracie, feel better soon. I'm sorry, Dad, miss you. I find it surprising that Fang didn't shoot a single teacher. That's the weird part. You think, right? Father, have mercy to Natsu and Lucy, we love you both. May you find peace in him. Listen, I'm all for heaven and that stuff. I just listen. I think this is sacrilege if I say it. Or maybe it's just blasphemy. No, sacrilege is like specific things of sacredness. And blasphemy is saying naughty things. So I guess saying, like, if you go to heaven and heaven is God's body and you're inside of his penis, that would be blasphemy. I feel like you should clarify this in his embrace. Or in his light. Or something like that. Because this doesn't work for me. Maybe the card's just too tiny for that. My eyes glaze over the last card before snapping back on it so fast. I like how Anon's talking to a priest. And you're just finding out that your parents give a shit. We're having a hard day. I like how this is the end of the chapter. Recognize that handwriting. I'm sorry, Fang. Do you know a lot of Nassers and Lucy's? A lot of Lassers and Nucy's? All over this fucking town? It was my mom. Fun fact, I could not identify my mother's handwriting. I couldn't identify anyone of my family's handwriting. Why would I see their fucking handwriting in this day and age? I don't think my mother could recognize my handwriting. She read a prayer card. Not just for Nasser, for both of us. I mean, I feel like God would get kind of pissed if you had a favorite child, right? Because, God, let's get into this. I think most people would agree that a child, a soul, is a gift from God. That's God giving you the high five and giving you a little baby. And going like, here you go, buddy. You get to keep it. I think in that context, right, you don't just get to pick favorites. Because God would probably be like, listen, bitch, I didn't give you 2 so you could raise 1. Right? Like, yeah, this kid's going to have some cool fucking trials to live in my honor. That's great. But, didn't loan you my car so you could just ignore it and let it rust on your driveway. Also, Samantha's your mom. Like, do you not understand how moms work? Surely you've noticed that your dad is the pissed off one the whole damn time, right? She actually cared. And he should prepare for Nasa's soul to find its way to heaven. I mean, that's pretty tough. He fell off a cliff once, so he doesn't know. Much as the little fucker as he could be, it could be a nice guy to his core. I feel like you are just very weird about this. You should talk to Anon, and he can explain to you what a bro this guy is. Screwed up a lot. Also, isn't like half the reason you don't want to talk to him or deal with him is because you are afraid of what you did to him? I feel like that should be a little more involved here. Although the whole being jealous of him does make sense. They had to hate me, despised me. I ruined everything. I killed people, her son included. Why? I could feel my throat tightening and tears began to cloud my vision. Ah! I'm a ghost. Why are my tears so salty and stinging in my eyes? How does that make any sense? Oh no, it's the magic prayer candles. Of all the things to actually affect me, it's smoke and prayer candles. I mean, that'd be funny, right? It'd be funny if you find out you're a ghost and it's like the weird specific things that do it. Man, has Zorch updated at all? I'm suddenly thinking about like Zorch's little temple level. Zorch is fucking weird, but it updates from time to time. It's taken forever to load, though. March 10th. Hmm. Add more Steam achievements? Motherfucker, you can't just keep adding Steam achievements. When was this? Oh, that was May. Oh. Okay, I guess Sorch is just kind of rare enemies, though? Defeat rare enemy, female brute with grenade launcher. What the fuck are these? Man, Zorch is such a weird game. I don't get it. I just don't get Zorch. It's weird to think that this got updated recently, though. Why is it very positive? What happened to late? 25 negative reviews. Sorch is weird. I like Sorch. It has a lot of odd physics and things going on, like how knockback works and kick jumps and everything. It's such a weird game. Anyway, Fang's having a beautiful moment of realizing that they might have underestimated how the actual situation worked out, which is fair enough. Why would you care what happens to my soul? Do anything with my name other than uttering it as a curse? Man, that's a great line. Why would anyone recall my name but to use it as a curse? That's a great way to describe yourself, but you're not a demon lord, Fang. Your name has not yet built up that strength. Also, Lucy is a really bad curse compared to Fang. I'm just saying, gotta work on your marketing department. Oh no, your brain can't comprehend the fact that maybe your mom thinks you're cool. Also, I don't like how this is done. I mean, I know I'm being a little shit throughout most of this, despite the scene being more serious. We're at the end of the chapter, so I'm like... But I don't like how this is done. I feel like this needs a rewrite. It needs a bit more style to it, a bit more finesse, a bit more of that sense of Fang falling down an endless chasm upon the realization that for everything that Fang has done, they were wrong and they fucked up. Which is worse than being right and fucking up. Okay, so let's talk about this, alright? I've been told that if you kill yourself, you go to hell. There's no excuses. God decides when you're ready, and if you decide to skip on the line, you gotta be Jesus himself to get away with that one. And even he didn't kill himself. If we're talking about murder, I'm pretty sure you get a free pass. I think if you die in like extreme circumstances, especially at the hand of evil, God's like, made a whoopsie, you get a free pass. Or maybe you get like an easier time. I don't know. But I've been told that like getting killed absolves you from a lot of minor infractions because you never had the chance and everything. On the other hand, some people will say, you should have always been ready. You should have always done your prayers, said your nice things, done your confessions. I don't know, man. And I'm trying to have a moment here. Stop talking about death. I'm already dead. This is a serious sin. Listen, calling it a serious sin is kind of underselling it. Call it a deadly sin. Call it a cardinal sin. Call it like undeniably a sin. I think serious is a little silly in this context because sins are inherently serious. A mortal one. There you go. I mean, yeah, you have to be mortal to get killed. That which severs the sinner completely from his divine grace. Listen, I have played. What's it called again? Suicide Squad. What severs you from divine light is dying, not killing people. If they do not repent and seek forgiveness in this life, then if you die, you kind of get fucked over. That's undeniable. Like, this is a nice, easy answer because it makes sense. God doesn't want you just killing people for no good reason. And hell, even a good reason's hard to find. So she's destined for hell. That's not fair. She's a spooky ghost. I'm not hell. Why am I hell? I can't be Fang's hell, priest man. I was grabbed from everyone around there, just pushed around, tormented and mocked, left to dry by everyone. It sounds like extenuating circumstances, but I don't know how God feels about that. And they get the boot straight to hell? Anthony said nothing. I imagine that Anthony, if he's been here for a while, which he has been, considering what you are, I imagine he's probably dealt with at least similar levels of problems. You can't be a priest for long in America without something crawling up on you, considering the Christian population is quite sizable. So the odds of talking to someone affected by something where it's a bit more complicated is fairly likely. Okay, but because everyone screwed up and pushed everything onto her, right? Can you deny your own responsibility if the situation is worse? I'd say if you're in a psychosis, like if you just straight up lose touch with reality, yeah, sure. I'll let it pass because at that point you ain't a person anymore. You've ceased to be a person for a little while. But if you're like just thinking and conscious and screwing around, my man, you pulled that trigger yourself at that point. It's complicated, and I can't make that judgment call. That's the part, right? That's the morality system. But how do you prove that in a court of law, or just to myself? That's the question. That's the spooky part. I slouched further into the seat. What do you mean? And Anon just fucking tells Priestman everything. Can Priestman make that connection? He knew Fang, right? Sunk cost. Should probably put a hyphen there since it's detail light. Or light in detail. Just saying. Given all that, who wouldn't snap? We have the insanity defense that goes nuts at people. That's why I say this is the court of God. That's kind of why I don't like systems like these, because a lot of them are like the fringes are where the devil lives, right? That's where the devil gets you. And they're weird and goofy in a lot of ways. And they also make God look bad. Generally speaking, they don't do a good case for the big man either. When I confronted her on the roof, she didn't really seem to be there, so I spooked them and they shot me and looked so horrified. But, wait a minute! Can you sign my Bible? I see. That sounded like she wasn't signing mine. I'm certain the Lord would take that into consideration. I feel like this is the kind of moment where, as a priest, you kind of realize that your job sucks as much as that of a fireman or a cop or a doctor, where it's like at some point you're gonna walk into someone and there ain't no easy answers, and they want them, and they will yell at you, and they will look at their dying, withering husband, and they want to know, surely there's something that can be done that will make this better, and there's nothing, and that's just sad. If you truly regretted things in the end, then he would know it. I mean, to be fair, I feel that when you're going up there for good old JC and the Funky Bunch to give you the pass or smash, they'll give it a good moment. Remember they have penance. Pretty sure they're like because they did, right? I mean, penance happens when you're alive and on. It's not really. No, purgatory is not a place here. Is the thing. Purgatory does not exist in this world. That's silly. That's goofy. That comes with implications that the church does not want to bother with because they make very odd situations. Like, God, the whole thing about exorcisms is very much steeped in mental disabilities being treated very poorly. But gosh, we're going on tirades that are not here or there. But yeah, you can go to purgatory, get a little dip in the old hellfire, and it'll come out clean. What goes into a cleansing? Normally it's performed by the saints while giving sins, alms from. You got to take her to the Pope. Got to have her dipped in the Pope's holy water. He makes a personal special batch. You just dump her in there a couple of times, and bada bing, bada boom. Sounds like you need to pay a fee. Technically, I mean, back when the church was a bigger political entity, they definitely asked people for land. They were like, "Hey, you're about to die. Can you give us some land? That is very useful. We would like to have some land." And the dying noble's like, "Fuck it, man. I don't need any of this. You can have it. I'm gonna die." And then his son is like, "What the fuck? I hate this church." Great way to build animosity as the church is to take land from people who want it. I'm just saying. Ugh. The communion of saints. The communion of saints. Those on Earth. So basically, if you're stuck on Earth, you can score brownie points for your pals. The communion of saints, when referred to persons, is a spiritual union of the members of the Christian church, living and dead, but excluding the damned. They're all part of a single mystical body, with Christ as its head. And each member contributes to the good of all and the welfare of all. Huh. Man, that's neat. So someone on Earth can, like, cover up your bad deeds and put a little spit and polish on there. That's just silly. So calling in backup? It's not that great to look at it, but listen, buddy. Fang shot up a school. Like, in context, it's not that many people. You know, Fang was mostly doing it because they were in a psychosis. You know, all I'm saying, Anon, is that it's probably not as bad as it looks. I can't believe a priest told me it was not as bad as it looks. That's just weird. Everything about this is weird. I don't like church. It's weird. Also, you can't just hit yourself with a whip. We don't do flagellation anymore. If only because it means we have to provide the whips for a variety of holy reasons. Good points to heal our soul. I mean, like, you're making it sound like it's a pragmatic thing, which the church tends to have issues with because it, gamifies God, which is really sad. Purgatory is there to help those who can be helped figure shit out, is the point. Having one last moment to think about it. Which, honestly, I can't imagine being the kind of person who's in purgatory and not be like, this sucks. You end up in purgatory, you're going to change your mind. I feel like unless purgatory is a very well designed disguise, in which case it feels very Satan-y. I'm just saying, Satan's the kind of person who puts up the disguise of reality, the illusion of existence. Listen, Fang, I talked to the priest man. You're going to have to go down to purgatory and sit in a little building saying sorry. So they feel terrible. Terrible. Been a pretty awful person for a long time. I suck, priest man. I suck. You can throw holy water at me and I burn where I stand. That's bad. Mentioned failing her before. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to put my little beans down. We're in a beans down moment right now. I have issues with having characters go to church for one big reason. There is an old bit of writing advice, which is never have your characters talk to a psychiatrist or a counselor, because the second they do, you just deconstruct their problems in a practical sense. And church is the same unless religiousness is the point. Anon's religiousness is not the point, so you can't have him go to church. Because if you start unpacking problems like this, you're directly addressing the problem, and it stops being a story, and it stops having themes, and it starts being practical advice. I'm saying that you need to be careful with this, and you can't just use it for plot development. Like this. I don't think asshole really counts as profanity. It's just a butt. Man, God gave everyone. They do say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. So I'm pretty sure God was involved with that butt of yours. Many creatures of faith, those ordained, and those lay beings have different views. Hmm. This feels a lot like the author waffling more than anything else, and I don't like it. Like I said, there's a reason you don't go to a church or to a psychiatrist or anything of the sorts. Because unless the point is that it doesn't work or that it's supposed to be very personal to the character, you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Like, these should be things the main characters learn in their own right, in some way. You can have the sage or the mentor character be someone else, but you can't just have it be the priest man giving you the instructions on how to solve problems. Because again, it gamifies the concept of your story. And I don't think God would like that either. So basically, your stuff's bad and kind of sad. But listen, I might be a priest man, but listen, if you shoot me with a gun, I'll die. Please don't take that the wrong way. Probably go now. Let me keep you. Don't let the big doors hit you where the good Lord split you or give you another ass crack. Unfortunately, that's how church doors work. That's how we get your first butt crack in the first place. That's what old priests like me are for, and then he dies on the spot from a heart attack. It's just like God, just done. Destiny fulfilled, buddy. Omniscient and omnipotent. You're done. I'm done with you. Why am I thinking about that time I brought boom blocks on the Wii to like a small vacation home, and we found out that we couldn't actually plug it in, or we did, and like no one wanted to actually play it, even though everyone was like, "Yeah, let's do that." No, that was so nasty. Like, come on, I brought it for you guys. What the fuck did who made that against Steven Spielberg? Right? It's so weird. Not that it's a bad game or anything, but Fang. Shouldn't you already know that it's Lucy? She was in your fucking congregation, man. If you figured out it's Anon, you know who you're dealing with. Don't pretend otherwise. Like, I get what you're going for, and maybe he listened to the story and he figured out what was really going on. Which, honestly, good on him. Also, a big problem I have with stuff like this is you can't make the mentor character like a drop-in. You can't have someone drop big advice from out of nowhere. Because, I don't know, it feels disconnected. It feels more like a fantasy novel, in a way, right? Very pragmatic, role-oriented characters. Characters that serve the plot instead of the plot serving the characters, as it were. You're listening in, right? Yeah, of course I was, Anon, because the readers want to hear what happened. I feel like we should have had Anon's own insights. I want to know what Anon thinks about religion in this context. Why aren't we talking about that? Listen, I've been to churches. They keep the doors open, man. The front door stays open. It's summer. They need the breeze. Actually, the buildings are really tall, so I guess the heat could collect up there or something. Only to realize it wasn't. Wait, you weren't there mentally? That's such a that's such a weird thing for someone to comment. And I'll try to say something to me, only to realize I wasn't there. How can you respond to this if you're not there? This is what I mean with like the POV is wrong. This is the wrong POV to work with. Maybe you should go for third person if you're gonna do two characters, and you're not really gonna use their POV for anything other than expositing their fucking thoughts at me like a fucking fire hose. Come on, sheesh. I don't think this really makes sense though. I I feel like if that was the point, there would be a bit of more direction to it. Like Fang feels very incidental. Fang wasn't informed on anything; just showed up. And Fang can't do much, which makes it all weird. It becomes more Anon's story since Anon's the one who has to carry out the deeds, if anything. Which I guess is part of the point. It's got to be teamwork. Instead of having support be the overdone buzzword, it's going to be teamwork. We all lift together. Man, I haven't played Warframe in so fucking long. I'm terrified to go back. I don't want to know what happened to that game. I'm mad they changed the corporate ships. I like the smaller rooms and shit. It just worked better with the whole. I don't like how slick it looks. I just like that old timey feel. I like older games, okay? I like it when RuneScape looks like old school RuneScape. The new stuff, does not play nice with the grid based engine. Eh. Neuro spicy people. I cannot stand cutesy infantilizing language around disability, and you'll note that it's entirely everyone's a little autistic fuckers who use terms like this. Man, what the hell's going on in this chat? What's going on in this video? Everything that lives must die. It's an immutable rule, and straying from it can only bring pain. Man, Pokemon Z to A is onto something, huh? I want to go to bed. And I was like, your mom? Listen, I know I talked about doing your mom, but that was a joke. That's an equals 3 reference. Just a prayer card at your church. I don't think your mom's gonna like. I feel at this point that like it's you're an uphill battle. Read and everything, sure, they're kind of open minded, but this mom left a prayer card and a candle and probably just gushed to shit to the priest man about this. I feel like to some extent, like what a like it works out. I know I looked ahead, but like, that's a spicy fucking problem to have. I don't know, Fang. I think talking to your mom is like the worst idea. Look, it's the next best thing. Maybe she doesn't completely fucking hate me. That was ever her kid. God, because it makes more sense. Maybe mom doesn't want to destroy me with a holy cross and everything. Splash some holy water on me. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Anon needs a little more time to mentally prepare for this. Like a couple of days just to prepare himself. How are you convincing your goddamn mom? You need way more ghost power. If she gave birth to you, I'm just some asshole that did you for. It really is kind of weird that you're haunting me instead of your mom. You were in her for 9 months before you came out. I don't even know you 9 months. Ugh, that makes 9 months of dating weird, right? It's like, yeah, at this point, I know. At this point, we've had more physical intimate contact than you have with your mom. Same also that I'm haunting, which she doesn't know about. I'll know. I mean, she's not talked to me at all. I personally feel like if we're going with like a proper, realistic boots on the ground thing, and Ripley isn't a fucking monster, that Samantha would talk to Anon on some level. I feel like she'd care enough, especially since she'd probably want to know Fang's last words. There's a bunch of reasons she could do it that are pragmatic and selfish. Or whatever. Your dad will definitely turn me into a pretzel. Dad might actually do this. Okay. Why are we doing a fucking split? Why don't you just end the fucking chapter? Didn't talk much, sarcastic quip. I don't think at this point, with everything that's happened, I don't know if either of you can do anything. I feel like both of you would be kind of stuck thinking about this shit. About mom, about penance, about what to do. Because this is a lot for like two teenagers, right? You're like 18 years old. If it was less me, none of this would have happened. Hmm. Sure, if Anna was less him, but if he wasn't him, I thought I would have fallen in love with him either. I don't like Fang's POV throughout much of this. I feel like Fang was a bad POV to pick for this. Because Fang has just been hanging back. I feel like what you could have done, right, is you could have had Anon talk to Priestman, and Priestman shows him the candles. He's like, listen, I know that you think that Fang's parents don't care, but they lit this candle, and it would be so much better. You could keep it shorter, snappier, more straightforward. Why is Fang talking? Fang can't talk to anyone. Fang is a horribly boring character when there's other people in the room, because Fang can't do anything with them. We get it. She's frustrated about being unable to communicate, but fuck, man. I mean, that's because he can't do that. I'm pretty sure that the church will excommunicate him if he gives, shoot 10 goats and you'll be fine advice. Like a good priest, they have to take theology, which means they know a lot more than just like Christian stuff. I'm pretty sure you have to learn like other theological things than just, the religion you're trying to join to have a better understanding of stuff. The worldliness is important these days. If only because those perspectives can help provide, answers. If you're just an anchorite sitting in a little room and all you know is the holy book, then you're not going to have a lot of good insight to give. God doesn't fill in the answers on the sheet for you. That's not how that works. It's such a silly idea. Also, someone is paying for your fucking life from that point forward. I'd break out of a window at some point. Pretend I died. I don't know how I got in there in the first place. I guess I was stupid one day. Got a little too drunk. Man, can you imagine building like a little house for someone? I just get to sit in there talking to God. It's like I became a priest, and this man's answering the phone. Dang. He apologized. Annal's been bending over backwards. Mom still prayed for me. Sounds, Fang, like you were overblowing everything. Although I don't want to know how it goes with Trish. You've been in your head for the entire. That's like what I hate. It's like everything gets interrupted by Fang thinking, but Fang doesn't do anything. It's so lame. Like I get it. That's part of the character at this point. But fuck, man. Dude, hold up. Hold up. You don't sleep in jeans. I've been told that sleeping in jeans is like the least comfortable thing in the world. It does not work. It's too warm. It's not comfortable. They're good for walking. They're bad for sleeping. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned that you're glad you couldn't smell this place. Does Anna even have a washer? Just go to a laundry place. How can he afford this? Anna, you should get a job. Like, you can't just make your life helping your ghost girlfriend ascend. Hold up. What's this? Where's your spiked crest head? Wait, what? No, Fang, as you become a better girl, you lose your headband. What? Wait. The fuck's the timeline here? What it meant is that Fang is. Oh, God, I hate that. I mean, I get it, right? Because Fang isn't. Lucy isn't Fang. Fang isn't a real person. Fang was invented by someone else. So I guess that's why the amulet goes away over time. But I don't know. You're starting to lose me a little bit. I gotta be honest. Part of it is just the writing being a little overdone. A lot. Bit hesitant though. I feel like it's pretty difficult to squeeze a hopeful ending out of E1 without doing time travel to fix it. I'm guessing some readers would find it cheap. I think I'm done for now. I'm a little annoyed, and I don't like where this is going. It's also not taking the fucking time for scenes to actually exist. You know what? Let's look at the next chapter's comments. We'll call it a day. Oh, there's a picture in here. Oh. Oh, it's Fang, like, holding hands. You can't just spooky ghost your parents, Fang. You can't just ghost your parents. That's spooky.